keeping the crown.
You know, it's really hard to describe the way it was, but, you know, I think it's time to put that behind us and get on to 1983.
Well, at what point were you able to do that? At what point did the afterglow from the series wear off, and did you start thinking about 1983?
I didn't start thinking about it until March 1st.
I'm talking to Ozzie Smith.
A handful of Redbirds have been enlisted to extol the virtues of local products, but that's small potatoes compared to the megabucks Madison Avenue doles out for national campaigns. Is that as a Midwestern team, they don't appeal to consumers in the nation's population centers on both coasts.
After the series, after we won it, I must have had 30 reporters come up to me one at a time and ask me, how did I feel?
How's your arm feel? How are you in shape, and how's your wife and kids? Do you think you're going to win it again?
Are there any particular spring training questions that you get from the media that really drive you up the wall?
The one you said the first time.
Norman Whitey Herzog, age 51, nicknamed the White Rat for his baseball savvy, recently elevated to genius status by the national sports media. To his everlasting credit, Whitey snorts at that genius tag, explaining that in baseball, a genius is any manager who has the luxury of a great bullpen.
This will be my 10th year managing, and I've been fired twice, so I know this. When you win, they say you communicate and you can really handle people, and when your club starts losing, somebody gets hurt, they say you're too tough, too easy, or can't communicate. So I don't worry about things like that. I'm just happy that my players feel that way. I appreciate that, but by the same token, I think it's because I got a pretty good bunch of people.
While last October marked Whitey's first managerial appearance in a World Series, he has been remarkably successful at winning divisional championships. His Kansas City Royals captured 3 straight American League West titles in 1976 through 78. Interestingly, Whitey still insists that his Cardinals were the de facto champs in the National League East in 1981. That was the year when baseball's strike-created split season prevented the Cards from participating in the playoffs, even though the Redbirds had the best overall record in the National League East.
I think really our first one was 81. We went through it in 81. I think some of the young players played good under pressure that year, and it made it a little bit easier last year. But I don't think unless you're really a baseball player or maybe just an athlete in professional sports that you realize the extreme pressure you have in the stretch run and from the middle of August till October in baseball. And it's amazing how you're going to get uptight. You don't really do the things you do best. So it got you there. And until you do it one time, it's a little tough. That's just like if you look at the pro golfer. Until he's won a professional tournament, it's just tough for him to go out that last day and really play, and that's just the way professional teams are.
Few teams in any sport are more professional than the St. Louis Cardinals. Here's the club that Whitey built, the defending world champions. The statistics shown on the baseball cards first reflect a player's performance during the 1982 regular season, followed by that same player's stats from last fall's World Series. First baseman Keith Hernandez now has plenty of gold-gloved company in the Cardinal infield, but with more than 7 years of big league experience, Hernandez remains the leader of one of baseball's stingiest infields. In 1982, Hernandez failed for the first time in 4 years to hit at least 300. Not that Keith fell very far. He posted a .299 average and led the team in game-winning RBIs. At 29, Hernandez personifies the day-to-day consistency that has become the Cardinal trademark.
We have a very sound, fundamentally strong club. We don't make mistakes in the field. Mark Belanger, who said something on Sporting News that it was a pleasure to watch us play because it's the first team he's seen in years where everybody's in the right spot at the right time. And those are things that win you ball games. We're a very well-disciplined club.
Which National League second baseman has committed the fewest errors over the past 2 seasons? Manny Trillo? Nope. Phil Garner? The most consistent second sacker in the National League has been 26-year-old Tom Herr of the Cardinals, who has mishandled only 14 chances in 2 seasons as a starter. That statistic, however, has been one of baseball's best-kept secrets.
I don't think I received a vote in the Gold Glove balloting, which is a joke as far as I'm concerned.
However, the condition of Herr's legs is no joke. Tom underwent off-season surgery to remove damaged cartilage in his right knee. That leg responded well, but in late March, torn cartilage in his left knee prompted further arthroscopic surgery. Until Herr is physically sound, the starting second baseman job will belong to 29-year-old Mike Ramsey. It is no exaggeration to say that last year's World Championship could not have been captured without Ramsey's contribution. Mike started more than 30 games at second while Herr was ailing early last season. Later, when Ozzie Smith was forced out of action with a leg injury during September's stretch drive, Ramsey stepped in at short and played almost flawless baseball. Seemingly whenever and wherever the need arises, Ramsey delivers.
I don't want anybody to get hurt, Tommy or Ozzie or Kenny or anybody, because you know, let's face it, we need those guys, and they're the starters, and that's the way it is. You know, it's fun to play though. Like last year, I played second for about a month, and I had a good time, and it's a lot of fun. It's you know, it's a pleasure to watch these guys play, but it's even more of a pleasure to be out there with them.
Will Rogers said he never met a man he didn't like. If Will were alive today, he might amend that to read, he never met a man or woman who didn't like Ozzie Smith. Ozzie is almost universally revered by fans, teammates, and opponents alike, an almost unheard of accomplishment in this age of public cynicism and rampant professional jealousy. During the off-season, Ozzie signed a new contract worth more than $1 million a year, making him the highest-paid shortstop in the history of baseball. But typically, Ozzie handled the resulting publicity as deftly as he makes a backhanded stab in the hole.
You know, if I'm a fan, I'm going to the ballpark to see an exciting ball game. I'm not going because a guy makes $1 million or a guy makes $2 million. I want to be able to go out and enjoy a good baseball game and not worry about salaries that the guys make.
It is valid, of course, to question whether an athlete or anyone else is really worth $1 million a year. But by today's inflated standards, Ozzie might be a bargain at twice the price. A growing number of baseball people think he could be the best glove man ever.
People that get a chance to see me play every day may say that I'm the greatest that they've ever seen, and people that get to see somebody else play may say that he's the greatest that they've ever seen. And, you know, that's what it boils down to. It's just a matter of personal opinion.
Third baseman Ken Oberkfell understands perhaps better than any other Cardinal how much last fall's World Series victory meant to St. Louis. Ken was born in nearby Highland, Illinois, went to high school in Collinsville, has been a Cardinal fan all his life, and has spent his entire professional career in the Redbird organization. And yet there was a point last season when Oberkfell was struggling at the plate, when he feared the happy marriage between ball player and ball club might be on the rocks.
Anything can happen as far in baseball, and you know, there's always a possibility you can get traded, but the trade never happened, and now I just want to go out there and prove to myself and prove to the people of St. Louis that I still am a pretty good ball player and can come back from the year I had last year.
Back when he was with the Yankees, Reggie Jackson once said that he was the team's catalyst, the straw that stirs the drink. Well, on the Cardinals, Lonnie Smith is the fuse that ignites the explosion. In 1982, Lonnie led the Cards in batting average, runs scored, doubles, triples, and stolen bases. Ricky Henderson of the A's may be baseball's best base thief statistically, but Lonnie doesn't concede a thing to his American League counterpart.
I would love to have the chance or the opportunity, you know, to do like Ricky Henderson did. You know, anytime he got on base, he was going, but I have to control myself on the bases at times because of the game, the situations, and just the way I'm performing at the time. If I'm swinging good, I feel good, I run well. If I'm not swinging well, I'm not running as well because I'm just not getting as loose as good. So someday maybe I'll attempt it, so, you know, but right now I just want to play along with the team and win games.
In a sport which usually emphasizes concentration and consistency rather than unbridled emotion, Smith's competitive fire burns hotter than most. Lonnie will never forget that Philadelphia traded him in 1981.
I want to play every game possible against the Phillies, and also I want to play against the Expos and the Reds because I played so bad against them last year. But I know we have a lot of talent on this team, especially in the outfield, and I'm willing to sacrifice some of my playing time to get the other guys.
Just as Cardinal fans are sure that Lonnie Smith should rightfully have been voted the National League's most valuable player in 1982, they are equally adamant that Redbird first-year outfielder Willie McGee actually had better credentials than did Rookie of the Year Steve Sax of the Dodgers. Few major leaguers have ever enjoyed a more auspicious rookie season. McGee instantly became a favorite of Cardinal fans, as much for his unspoiled demeanor as for his spectacular talents.
I like to keep things simple and just, just concentrate on baseball. I'm not a spokesman, and I'm not a very good talker, and I'm good at baseball, and that's what I want to, keep my mind on.
Which of the questions that bother you the most, and which are the most repetitive?
The most frequently heard is about the sophomore jinx, and I don't believe in it. I believe that if you just concentrate on baseball and work hard and just can avoid that type of situation, then you won't think about it, because I wasn't thinking about it till I got here, and then people, like I said, ask you that question, and then the more they ask you, the more it stays in the back of your mind.
Right field is one of the Cardinals' few question marks for 1983, not because of an absence of talent, but because of an abundance. Incumbent George Hendrick drove in a club-high 104 runs in 1982 and led the team in homers with 19. But Hendrick is being pushed by the enormously talented David Green, a 22-year-old speedster from Nicaragua, whom some have labeled the next Roberto Clemente. Green, of course, would rather be known as the current David Green. Figuring out a way to get Green into the lineup more frequently has been a top priority for Whitey Herzog this spring. Hendrick has frequently worked out at first base as a possible backup to Keith Hernandez. At the same time, the club has considered trading Hendrick while his market value is still high. At 33, Silent George remains a much misunderstood individual. In point of fact, his policy of not granting interviews to reporters has generated more publicity for him than he could ever have scared up by talking. But there is no doubting the sincerity of Hendrick's convictions. He is perhaps the most respected player in the Cardinal clubhouse. His patience with children is exemplary, and he is anything but quiet around his teammates.
Tito will lie on camera, George. Look at us, George. They got you. It's Chuck. Did last night.
If the 82 series was a landmark triumph for the Cardinal organization and the city of St. Louis, it was a dramatic personal breakthrough for Cardinal catcher Darrell Porter. Forsaken by many Redbird fans while he struggled through a difficult regular season,
What'd you jump for?
Porter was nothing short of magnificent in winning Most Valuable Player honors in both the National League playoffs and the World Series.
Catcher Darrell Porter.
Porter is optimistic that his postseason role in 1982 will carry over into 83, but success has never come easily for Darrell Porter.
Back at my real successful seasons, and the one thing that really, I think, sticks in my mind more than anything else is how hard it was during those, even those good years, how hard it was to come out here every day and really dedicate yourself to the game. This is a game that can leave you so fast. I mean, you take a couple of days off of batting practice, you've lost all the things that you've worked on. Now it's you're starting all over again. It's just something that you have to go out every day and concentrate 100% on, and that's really
Those duties be. Relievers Jeff Lottie and Jeff Keener added depth and versatility to the Cardinal bullpen in 1982. Outfielders Dane Orge, Gene Roof, and Tito Landrum always seemed to answer the bell. Orge, you'll recall, tied a World Series record for most hits by a designated hitter in the 82 Fall Classic. And who can forget reserve catcher Glenn Brummer's dramatic steal of home plate to give the Cards a big win over the Giants last August. This year, the Redbirds have acquired another resourceful, if relatively unheralded, player. Utility man Jamie Quirk was picked up as a free agent from Kansas City last January.
From day one in the major leagues, I was a pinch hitter. I never had an everyday spot anywhere, and you're always used in a certain situation to pinch hit, and you just become accustomed to it. I look at it like a relief pitcher. You know when you get in there, it's going to be on the line, and either you do or you don't. You can't say anything about it. Either you come out smelling like a rose or you go to the game.
Well, we won with 25 players last year stuck together, and other guys that are on clubs here, I know that you got one guy that's saying, well, I should be playing more, and I'm better than so-and-so, and was none of that last year. And so guys come down here with the idea that there's only one or two spots open on the roster for among four people. There's four people fighting for two jobs.
22-year-old outfielder Andy Van Slyke comes complete with a can't-miss label. The Cards' first-round draft choice in 1979, Van Slyke has made steady progress through the Redbird organization, and last year tore up Double-A pitching with the Arkansas Travelers of the Texas League. At 6'1" and 190 pounds, Van Slyke can hit with power, and he possesses so much speed that he led the Texas League in stolen bases in 1982. Such great expectations have proved to be too heavy a burden for many young prospects, but Van Slyke seems genuinely unfazed.
I know it's something that I enjoy. I'm glad that they feel that way, and I feel that I can play the outfield for St. Louis Cardinals, and given the chance, I hope I can prove myself.
Training in the same camp with such outfield luminaries as Smith, McGee, Hendrick, and Green could easily throw a 22-year-old rookie off stride. But here again, Andy just doesn't scare easily.
I'm not really intimidated. They do all the things that the minor league ball players do, but with fewer mistakes. And I'm not intimidated at all. I'm learning a heck of a lot more than I've probably learned in the past couple of years in baseball. And that's what this game's all about. You can learn something new every day.
Van Slyke will likely open the season with the Cards AAA Farm Club in Louisville. But someday soon, perhaps before the end of the coming campaign, Andy Van Slyke will be running down fly balls and hitting liners in the gap at Busch Stadium. At the other end of the experience scale is 44-year-old veteran left-hander Jim Cott, whose 23-year big league career has now spanned portions of 4 decades. When Jim Cott began his major league career in 1959, Ike was president, and the United States had not yet put a man into space. Since that time, Cott has pitched for 6 big league clubs and has logged 4,493 innings on the mound. Now, however, Cott is frequently called upon to throw just a third of an inning per appearance. His job? Come out of the pen with runners on base and get 1 big out.
It is tough. I mean, it's the kind of thing that when you come in and you throw 2 or 3 pitches and you get 1 hitter out, everybody said, well, that looks like an easy job. You just go in there and throw a few pitches. But when you go out there a couple times and you give up a key hit, then it begins to add a little pressure, because you know at the start of the ball game you're going to get 1 chance to do your job.
Between Cott and pitching coach Hub Kittle, the Cardinals have a wealth of pitching know-how unmatched by any other team in baseball. Hub, you see, still has the right to call Cott a youngster. Now 65, Hub is still doing what he knows and loves best at an age when many of his contemporaries have only memories. There is no generation gap between pedagogue and pupil on the Cardinal pitching staff.
No, aquí, coño.
In fact, Kittle is at his best with young pitchers, whether it's by conversing with Spanish-speaking players in their native tongue, or just understanding the problems of youth.
All these young fellas here have worked so hard to get where they are. They've been through the mill. They've been in A-ball, rookie ball, AA, AAA ball. And all of a sudden, he has the talent, and now he's played long enough that he can play up here too. So don't let the pressure get you just because you're up here. Yeah? Don't let that happen to you. You go out there between those white lines and you be yourself.
To date, Kittle's most ringing success has been his role in the development of Cardinal right-hander Joaquin Andujar. It was Kittle who discovered Andujar in Joaquin's native Dominican Republic in the late 60s. When Andujar and Kittle were reunited in St. Louis in 1981, the conditions were right for Joaquin to realize his sizable potential as a pitcher. In 1982, Andujar won 15 games and posted a minuscule ERA of only 2.47. Andujar is the butt of almost every practical joke perpetrated in the Cardinal clubhouse. This spring, when Joaquin's teammates weren't scaring him half to death with rubber snakes, they were hanging his glove out of a 10th floor window.
Today, John Henry said, "Are you looking for your glove?" I said, "Yes." And he said, "Okay, follow me." I followed him outside the stadium, you know. And we live close to the stadium, you know. I saw my glove hanging on the 10th floor in the hotel, you know. By this time, it might be real wet.
Andujar's teammates kid him incessantly about taking all the credit for last year's championship. But actually, they know as well as anyone that Joaquin is a team man with a large helping of humility.
You know, you have to be satisfied whatever the God give it to you, you know, because a lot of people, they want to play baseball like you, and you can play, you know. You have the microphone now in your hand. You know?
You got it.
I have to be proud of my job, you know. You have to be proud of your job, you know. And that's why, you know, I just another human.
Professional is the most accurate adjective to describe 33-year-old Redbird right-hander Bob Forsch. His 15 victories in 1982 tied Andujar for the club lead in that department. Forsch's biggest virtue is his consistency. Now entering his 9th full season with the Redbirds, Bob can almost always be counted on to keep his team in the ball game going into the late innings.
Well, when I first came up, you know, I basically threw a fastball and a curveball, and that was it. And over the years, I made a transition when the fastball isn't quite there. Then I worked now I throw a slider and a little dead fish, which is more or less changeup, and still got a curveball, and fastball's got better movement on it.
While Forsch and Andahar have a total of 15 years Major League experience between them, the Cards' other two holdover starters from 1982 are very talented, but very young. 23-year-old Dave LaPointe is the club's only certain left-handed starter. Many of LaPointe's 9 victories last season came in crucial ball games. In fact, LaPointe was the winning hurler the night the Cards clinched the National League East crown in Montreal. Clearly, whatever LaPointe lacks in experience, he makes up for in composure.
For me, I'm not a person that really bothers with pressure too much. The only pressure is what you put on yourself. I just like to go out there and pitch. I don't look who's batting. I just look at Darrell's glove and get in my own little bubble and go out there and do my job. So, I don't care if it's the Pirates or the Phillies or somebody like that. I'm going to pitch the same no matter who's batting against me. So, it was nice pitching down the stretch and clinching that game in Montreal, but this is a different year. They got some different players on these teams that I'm going to have to deal with, and, hopefully we'll have the same kind of luck.
Right-hander John Stuper has appeared in only 23 games in his Major League career. But like LaPointe, the preponderance of those outings has come in pressure-packed situations. Stuper was widely hailed for his performance in Game 6 of the World Series, when he pitched the Cards to a 13-1 cakewalk. But the adulation seemed to embarrass Stuper, who treats his older teammates with deference in the Cardinal clubhouse. John knows that he'll ultimately be judged over the long haul, not for what he did on one October night in 1982.
Anybody can be a great guy and friendly and everything when things are going well. I think it's really a judgment of the kind of person you are when you can be that way and keep on an even keel. Jim Cott really helps me in that manner because he's the same way if he gets hit around or if he pitches 3 or 4 shutout innings, and I'm gradually getting to that point.
The Cards go into the '83 campaign without an established 5th starter.
Get excited with the St. Louis Cardinals. With their first championship banner in 15 years, the excitement began on opening day as fans honored their Cardinal heroes. Leading the parade, team owner Gussie Busch, playoff and series MVP Darrell Porter, and flashy fielding shortstop Ozzie Smith. These 44,000 fans were reliving those golden moments of last October when the Cardinals won their 9th World Series. A tribute to that great season, the unveiling of the team's new color video board in right field. The highlight of the ceremony was the handing out of World Series rings to the players and coaches, and a wishful message from Mr. Busch himself, who, along with Cardinal fans, look forward to another season full of excitement. The scene shifted to Shea Stadium, and Joaquin Andújar picked up right where he left off in 1982. He muffled Met bats en route to a 4-hit shutout and a 5-0 victory, the Redbirds' first of the season. During the first week, 4 rainouts played havoc with the team's schedule. But when the Mets arrived in St. Louis for a rematch, Whitey's Birds ruled the base paths. It was time to go back to Cardinal basics, squeeze plays, and some good old-fashioned hitting. The three-game sweep of the Mets perched the Redbirds in first place as they raced off to a 6-1 start. But when a late April snow began to fall, so did the Cardinals. 3 straight snowouts to add to the earlier rainouts, and when good weather finally did arrive, it was the starting pitchers who were as cold as ice. The Cardinals went on a 4-game losing streak. They dropped 6 of 8 games on their West Coast swing and sunk to 3rd place in the National League East. Though the Birds were grounded out west, a welcome sight was the return of Willie McGee to the lineup. After suffering a shoulder ailment in April, the fleet-footed youngster showed that his super rookie season was no fluke. As a center fielder, McGee proved he can run and catch with the best of them, winning his first Gold Glove in 1983. On the bases, well, Willie generates plenty of excitement and has a knack for making things happen. A productive batter in the lineup, McGee scored 75 runs while driving in 75. But his biggest contribution to the team came during the month of May, when he batted .339 against some of the Redbirds' toughest division rivals. With McGee healthy again, it was Cardinal fans who caught the fever, especially in May with an early season showdown against Montreal. But for Expo ace Steve Rogers, an ill wind was blowing.
Swing and a long one, and goodbye. 2-0.
In the 9th inning, southpaw Dave LaPointe was just a pitch away from his first Major League complete game. But Warren Cromartie evened the score at 2 apiece, and with frustration written on LaPointe's face, the game went into extra innings. Expo relief ace Jeff Reardon was on the mound, and Whitey searched for some kind of spark. In the 11th inning, he found it.
Swing and a line drive into the right field corner. That's fair. That's the winner.
This dramatic win led to a 4-game sweep of the Expos.
May 18th, the Cardinals have won their last 6 games in a row. Whitey Herzog begins his day talking with reporters Rick Hummel and Rob Raines. It's less than an hour before game time, and once again it's raining outside, prompting this comment from Herzog.
I bet we played cards more when we took batting practice or infield this year.
The rain stops, the ball game starts on time, and Herzog wonders if Joaquin Andujar is ready to pitch.
Go get him, Joaquin. Come on, kid. You ready? Hey, are you ready?
Yes, sir. I'm ready.
Hey, Lonnie, anytime, Lon.
Andujar is trying to break a personal 5-game losing streak, but he gets off to a rocky start against the Houston Astros.
Looked at the charts on his velocity, and now it's about the same? Or? No, it's a little lower. Up. You think I ought to go out and talk to him? Yeah, I would. Hey, Paul! Paul! Look. You're throwing and pitching like you've lost all your confidence. You know, you're one of the best goddamn pitchers in this game. And I haven't lost confidence in you. I don't think Darryl or anybody else has. So take the ball, throw the damn ball the way you can throw it.
That's all
All right, go after these guys. Damn it, you can pitch. You can't pitch and win 2 World Series and then goddamn play off and pitch as good as you did last year and all of a sudden get this hard, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Well, let's go after him. Let's go. Come on.
Herzog's chat and this beanball incident with Astros pitcher Mike Scott fire Andujar up. He settles down, pitching shutout ball from the 4th to the 7th inning. But the Cardinals trail 3-1. Herzog and the Cardinals go to work in the 7th.
Hey, Dave. If one of the first 2 men get on, you're going to hit. Going up on deck. Ozzy. Where's Davy Green? You get ready, bud. Come on. He butts him over. I'll have Greeny hit. Come on, Greeny. Come on, Greeny. Come on. George makes the last out. We don't go ahead. I want you. You can play left field.
Yeah, I'll play left.
Yeah, you go to left field. I'll let Ozzy end the ball game.
All right.
Then I can put Suter in George's spot, okay?
What if he gets on?
What if he gets on? Then you'll move you to third and put Ozzy. He makes that, okay? That's a good fastball. Why don't he throw that thing to them other guys, huh?
The Cardinals won that game 9-5 over Houston, taking a 1-game lead over the Phillies. Another day at the office for Whitey Herzog. I'm Art Holliday, Channel 5 Eyewitness Sports.
And with Houston in town, the Redbirds won their 6th straight in the first game of the series, then completed the sweep with a big rally led by an unlikely hero.
Swings on a long one to right field. May go. Adios.
In just 9 days off the disabled list, Tommy Herr hit the first 2 homers of his career, the second capping an 8-run explosion for St. Louis as the Redbirds won again 9-5, extending the win streak to 7. When the Cardinals are on top of their game, the defense often plays a major role. And in St. Louis, when you're talking defense, you're talking Ozzie Smith.
The pitch to Boa, swing, and there's a line drive, and a diving catch by Ozzie.
And the line shot, and look at Ozzie Smith.
There's a ball hit up the middle. Ozzie, a diving stop. Comes up throwing. Got him.
The 2-2 pitch, a ground ball to the left to Smith. He dives, smothers it, gets up, throws him out.
There's a ground ball. Ozzie comes up with it, saves the game, and throws him out. Deep in the hole. Look at Ozzie. The Wizard of Oz throws him out. Brilliant. Remarkable.
Incredible.
Dandy. One of the best to ever play the game of baseball.
Everyone agrees that Ozzie's a magician on the field, but he's an all-star off the field as well. When Willie McGee came to St. Louis in 1982, Ozzie helped the rookie in his adjustment to the major leagues. In St. Louis, Ozzie is a folk hero with the kids, as well as an individual who's concerned with his community.
I can save a game with a good play, but you can save lives by giving blood. Drugs are a sure way to strike out. If you want to be a winner and see yourself on one of these, stay clean. Learn the life-saving skills of CPR and help save a loved one's life. Baseball cares.
Baseball should be proud to have Ozzie Smith as one of its own. Any way you look at it, the man is a winner. But by the middle of June, even Ozzie couldn't save a struggling pitching staff that ranked a lowly 10th in the league in earned run average. Thus followed the trade.
I was shocked. He's a good player. And, you know, it was unexpected, and no one heard of Neil Allen.
I was shocked. I had a hunch that they were trying to get some pitching, and I just figured that I had my home here, and I might be involved because there's got a lot of things that I'm going to have to probably bring to pick up a lot of people here, even though it does a turn out. We're going to do what I brought.
We've been discussing this the last few weeks, been talking to some clubs, and look at the overall situation, and we felt we had to get some more pitching. We have doubleheaders, 7 of them to make up, and we didn't know where to go. We had an injury to Fulgham, an injury to Rincon. We looked at AAA, and some of the kids that were really high on, we just don't feel are ready yet. And we think that a year ago you wouldn't have been able to get a guy like Neil Allen. We talked to the Mets about him before the trading deadline last year, talked about him all winter. Now he's got off to a bad start, and we think a change will do him good. He's healthy. We'll get him over here. We'll start him some of these doubleheader games and decide whether he should be a starter or back in the bullpen.
I have no personal problems. It's just a period I'm going through right now that I've gone through before. And I'm certainly, I know there shouldn't be any inkling of me having any personal problems. I've got, in fact, I've overcome a great many of them. Well, yes, as far as my private life is concerned, back in 1980, but it certainly has nothing to do with drugs or alcohol.
Entering a crucial stretch of 19 games in the 15 days ahead, the Redbirds traded first baseman Keith Hernandez to the Mets for pitchers Rick Ownby and Neil Allen. Hernandez and Allen had barely donned their new uniforms by the time they faced each other in a showdown at Shea. Allen got the best of the first encounter, hurling 8 scoreless innings to earn his first Cardinal victory. Neil Allen proved to be exactly what St. Louis needed as he beat New York again, this time with a little smoke and with a little finesse. A few weeks later, he put it all together, shutting out the Padres on only 4 hits while winning his 3rd game in a row. Then in his next start, he came back to blank the Dodgers 3-0, earning him Player of the Week honors in late July. As a Cardinal, the newly acquired Neil Allen seemed right at home. But as the summer waned on, strange things began to happen. A wild pitch to clear the bases? It happened one July night against the Dodgers. Sometimes it's necessary to go backwards in order to move ahead. And in the topsy-turvy world of baseball, it pays to be in the right place at the right time.
So in this 50th anniversary All-Star Games,
Pedro Guerrero. Outfielder George Hendrick. And outfielder Willie McGee. Representing the San Diego Padres, Joe Torre. And in the National League bullpen, also from the St. Louis Cardinals, Dave Ricketts. And batting eighth from the St. Louis Cardinals, Ozzie Smith. Of the champion St. Louis Cardinals, Whitey Herzog. And now, let's meet the 1983 American League Rickey Henderson. From the Milwaukee Brewers, catching and batting sixth, Ted Simmons. In 1933.
Because when you really add it up, it is still an exhibition game as great as it is.
So Ted Simmons, who has started all-star games in 2 leagues, he started for the National League in 1978. Coming up with first and second, 2 down. And a ground ball back of first. Oliver is there. He's going to underhand a Soto. Ball 1 to Ozzie. The Whiz, as they call him. One of the 2 switch hitters along with Raines in the starting lineup. Interesting for Ozzie, he went 4 for 5 in the last game of a doubleheader to get his average to 205. Only 1 player has ever started in an all-star game hitting less than 200. You know who it is?
I have no idea. Houdini.
Reggie Jackson, of course. Same guy.
Under 200?
Under 200.
In the All-Star Club?
Started on the All-Star team. Well, Ozzie was in a little slump. He was 0 for 29, and he was 17 for 106.
That's not a little slump, then.
He was hurting. Fly ball into left field, and Rice is there, waiting to handle it. And just like that, a couple of fly balls, 2 down. You know, we were looking up at the Goodyear Blimp Enterprise. 50 years.
Johnson, Buck Leonard.
He's done almost everything. Player, scout, coach, manager, general manager, and even director of playing personnel. Whitey Herzog. In fact, in the years where he's had a full season, 162 games, he's finished first 4 times and second once. That's about as successful as you can get. 3-1 in favor of the American League. Popped it up on the right side. Sacks.
And you give your pitcher that big a lead, that cuts down a lot of things that you can do. Honeycutt, when they talk about him, the name of Tommy John comes up. He keeps the ball.
Who began the year in the minor leagues and is in the All-Star game. He is only 1 of 3 ever to do that. And George Brett hits a fly ball down the left field line, and Tim Raines over in the corner to make the... And it's going to be Ozzie Smith, Dickie Thon, and then Steve Sachs duo. 4-1, 1-0. Ozzie Smith flying to left field in the second inning. Switch hitter, right-handed, and as you can see, no power. In there. He is without a doubt the most acrobatic shortstop to ever play the game, and I hope somewhere in the course before he comes out, the
people see him. They saw enough of him in the World Series.
Will you ever forget him going out the last game and doing a backflip?
Yeah, he is a true acrobat. 1-2. And he hits it in the hole and grounds it into right field. So the National League trying to get off the deck, and Ozzie Smith singles against Rick Honeycutt. Into 3 American as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning, and several changes. St. Louis sends in Willie McGee in center field for Andre Daw. Third base from the Los Angeles Dodgers, Pedro Guerrero. Now there's Leon. So defensively, the National League stacks up this way. 1-2 the count to Parrish. And he hits a drive to center. Willie McGee floating over. And makes the play. So a single and a man left. Red Schoendienst hits a home run in the 14th inning in 1950. Remember Hendrick, who have not seen action. And for the American League, still on the bench, Cecil Cooper, Lou Whitaker, Carl Yastrzemski, Bob Boone, Rickey Henderson, excluding pitchers. One and one to McGee. He had the longest hitting streak in the National League, 19 games. Multi-talented kid out in the early part of the year with injuries. One away, bases empty in the 7th. 9-3 American. Interesting that he had never made it above Double-A in 5 years with the Yankees. Then the Cardinals got him for Bob Sykes before last year, and you know what happened after that. High chopper over the mound, charging shortstop Ripken, throws to Murray in time. McGee beating the throw.
McGee spent a lot of time with Cool Papa Bell. Of course, Cool is from St. Louis. Let's watch the play again. And McGee likes to feel like he reminds Cool Papa of himself because of that great speed. And you can see here, he had base hit on his mind all the way.
Ripken throwing on one leg, so he couldn't get the ball over back to Satchel.
Watch Trio when he gets the ball. Is he on the bag? I would say he was just in the neighborhood, which is all that counts. It's a neighborhood play.
Get the Ruth's home run inside the park, you know you're shoveling.
Here comes Whitey out there. Did you read our disclaimer yet?
No. By the way, the record for most clubs, one club for most runs, the American.
Say Willie in center field, you deference to the great play. You don't think of Willie Wilson, you think of Willie Mays, don't you?
I saw so many great. Big Lee Smith, 6'6", 235.
He's got to have a birthday on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, don't he?
Look at that earned run average, 1.3. The White Sox. Check your local listings for the game in your area. On the home of the bullpen is making that overnight hike to the dugout. Here he comes. The last of the Mohegans, along with George Hendrick. Delivery.
It's the knuckleball. Here it is with 2 strikes. Underhand knuckleball, and he just swung over it.
1 out in the 9th. Bouncer foul. It's 13-3 American League. Friends, the 1983 All-Star Game has been brought to you by Miller High Life, the best beer for the best time of the day. Welcome to Miller Time. By Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By Sharp Electronics Corporation. From Sharp Minds come Sharp products. And by Gillette Atra Razor, the twin blade razor that pivots for a close, comfortable shave.
When the Cardinals got back home in late July, they flashed their skill on the base paths, especially in one game against the Giants when Redbird runners stole 9 bases, 2 short of the Major League record. With 39 stolen bases in 18 games, the Cardinals were #1 in the league in that category. And it was becoming obvious that nobody was going to break the Cardinals' stride. For the first time in Cardinal history, 4 runners stole more than 30 bases in a season. Ozzie and Lonnie combined for 77. David Green swiped 34, while McGee stole 39. But whether stealing or just running the bases, nobody could break the Cardinals' stride. Cardinal runners used blazing speed to their advantage. Whitey held a trump card in the late innings. That's the time he likes to call on pinch hitter extraordinaire Steve Braun to perform his specialty. With 15 pinch hits in '83, Braun ranks 9th on the all-time Cardinal list. And at the age of 35, with 12 years Major League experience, he provided leadership and stability to a young team. Another ace in the hole, Cards second baseman Tommy Herr, who was enjoying the finest season of his 4-year Major League career. With a torrid .374 average in July, Herr raised his overall average to a league-leading .323. Herr accomplished all this despite having surgery on both knees during the offseason. It did affect his mobility, and after playing hurt for 3 months, he re-injured the knee and was lost for the season. With Herr out of the lineup, everything seemed to come unglued. Routine plays turned into mistakes. And with just 2 months left to play in the season, Whitey and the Redbirds knew they were asking for trouble. The Cubs swatted the Birds 3 straight. Then the division-leading Phillies came to town. New team, same results. Another 3-game sweep, and the Cardinals finished the homestand with an 0-6 record. Suddenly, the possibility of another Eastern Division crown was slipping away and time was running out. Nobody knew that better than Whitey. With every trip to the mound, Whitey knew that someone had to step up and inspire his troops. His call was answered in August when a couple of spirited youngsters injected new blood into the Cardinal attack. First, it was Danny Cox, who got St. Louis fans excited in his first Major League start.
The pitch coming. Struck him out! Swinging! Struck him out! The inning's over. They give the kid a standing ovation behind the Cardinal dugout. He has shown everybody plenty here tonight.
Whitey added some punch to the lineup with Andy Van Slyke, a rookie who played 5 different positions and played them all well. But it wasn't until the middle of August that Van Slyke came into his own as an all-around performer after receiving an inspirational message.
Whitey had a little meeting. He really came out and really told us to start busting our butts out, so we'll be out of this thing before we know it. And I think we started to realize that we really got to go out and do some extra work to stay in this thing.
When Whitey called on Van Slyke, he delivered.
Dolly fires Andy. A long one. There she goes. And good night, folks. A home run. Andy Van Slyke wins it for the Cards. And listen to this crowd.
Van Slyke's dramatic 10th inning blast served as a catalyst as the Cardinals began to play the type of running baseball that has become their trademark. The next night, Ozzie committed grand larceny on the Astros.
Ozzie, a big lead from third. Knepper's keeping a close eye on. Here he comes. He's going to be safe. He steals home. You can see it coming and listen to the crowd. It's 2-0.
While Ozzie stole the Astros blind, Whitey was busy sighting a pair of bullpen aces. First, Neil Allen, who was summoned in relief after succeeding as a starter. Then in came Bruce Sutter and his split-fingered fastball. This dynamic duo combined for a 5-2 victory and completed a 4-game sweep of the Astros.
6 straight wins put them back in the chase and put some heavy heat on the front runners. Backup third baseman Floyd Rayford exemplified the spirit of St. Louis.
We're too good a ball club, but we're not out of this thing by a long shot. We've still got a long way to go, and we're going to keep pushing and keep trying hard till we're really mathematically eliminated.
Rookie Andy Van Slyke eliminated Houston in the first of a 4-game series with a home run in the bottom of the 10th. Van the Man was also Handy Andy, having already played 5 positions. Houston had double trouble the next night when hot-hitting Lonnie Smith unlocked a scoreless game in the bottom of the 8th to win game number 2. Dave LaPointe gave up just 3 hits in 8 2/3 innings to run his record to 11-7. Whitey the White Rat Herzog gloated over Ozzie Smith in Game 3. First, the Wizard of Oz stole third, and then, not yet finished with his run of magic, Ozzie easily stole home. John Stuper pitched a 5-hit shutout for his first victory since early June, and the Cardinals were hoping to grab hold of a sweep. Rookie Danny Cox was ripe in Game 4 and on the way to his first big league win. Bruce Sutter came in to collect his second save of the series and 14th overall. The Cardinal pitching staff would go on to rack up 3 shutouts in 4 games. Yes, the Redbirds were well aware of what was needed to feast in the East.
The team that gets the pitching, in late August and September, down the stretch, that's where it all starts. A guy has to go out there on that mound and establish himself, and you get good, consistent pitching right on through August and September, and you can find yourself sitting on top of the world.
2 days later, a struggling Joaquin Andujar got back on track with a 4-hit shutout over the Western Division leading Braves. And in the same series, the Braves got a message from George Hendrick, who let his bat speak for itself.
Here we go into the bottom of the 9th. Tied 1-1. Swing and a long one. And that's a winner on the home run by Hendrick. And the Cardinals pick up a half game. And the Cardinals move within a game and a half of first.
In just 10 days, the Cardinals gained 6 games in the standings and were back in the race. At the same time, Cardinal attendance was also climbing, and it didn't go unnoticed.
I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for your great support of our Cardinals.
We're at Busch Stadium to honor one of the best baseball players to ever play the game, and a farewell from St. Louis to Mr. Johnny Bennett.
It's very nice of the Cardinals to do this. It's happened in other cities, and I feel very flattered that they've taken the time out to honor me. Recognition is a great thing, and I just feel like that any ball player, whether maybe not even be a ball player, but anybody, whether it be a worker, employee of the month, it's kind of nice, and it's very flattering, and I feel very honored.
Looking back at your career as a catcher, who did you find was the hardest base stealer to throw out?
Well, there got to be so many of them. Obviously Lou, I came along in Lou's prime, and Maury Wills towards the end of his career, but Davey Lopes, Lou, and Moreno, Traveras, all of them were tough.
Also, your hitting. You're the only catcher to have the most home runs. With Red Shandy's longtime manager and now coach of the St. Louis Cardinals, Red. Looking back on Johnny Bench's career, what do you think about Johnny Bench as a baseball player and as a gentleman?
Well, I don't know John that well.
Okay, here we are with Lou Brock, one of the best base-stealing threats of all time in baseball. Lou, Johnny Bench is one of the greatest catchers of all time, and there must have been some awesome encounters between the two of you.
In fact, it was, and of course, when Johnny came into the league a few years ago, in fact, around 1967, there was a lot of talk about his strong throwing arms, his throwing arm, I should say. And of course, at that point in time, I was just learning, so there was a great deal, a great deal of confrontation between us.
Well, Lou, would you like to say a farewell to John?
Well, today we are. In fact, I'm going to do it right here at the ballpark, and we're going to make the presentation to Johnny. And this be a farewell. I kid him a great deal about the fact that, yes, we do hate to see him go, but I'm sure there's quite a few pitchers who love to see him go.
And the man who has hit more home runs than any other catcher in Major League history, Mr. Johnny Bench.
Yeah, right on.
Because it's players like you, we can all be proud to be a part of this game. Thanks a lot. Johnny, on behalf of the St. Louis Cardinals and St. Louis Cardinals fans, it is indeed a pleasure for me to present you this portrait. I can just say that you not only left your heart, but you carved your entire name into the cornerstone of baseball. And all the St. Louis congratulate you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Johnny Bench. Thank you very much. Thanks to Mike Shannon, Lou Brock, and Tommy Hurt. To all the St. Louis Cardinals and the St. Louis Cardinals organization, it is a privilege to be before you today to represent baseball and to be a part of a great tradition. I have loved playing in St. Louis. It's been a challenge every time I had to walk on the field with the St. Louis Cardinals and Lou Brock. You're world champion fans as your team has been the world champions of last year. Good luck to all of you. Thank you. Congratulations, John, and good luck whatever endeavor you go from there. Mr. Johnny Bench.
In this town, like any other, the goal is always to be number one, and in September, it was time to zero in on a pennant race. When the Pittsburgh Pirates came to town, pennant pressure worked in the Cardinals' favor. As the Cardinals took 3 of 4 from the Pirates, even optimist Chuck Tanner couldn't bear to watch. With the pennant race heating up, Ozzie Smith continued to wield a hot bat against National League opponents, lifting his average 55 points since July 4th. During this stretch, the Cardinals seem to recapture their championship form.
Here's a line drive into right. David Green playing there. Good play. A line drive into left, and it is a diving catch by Andy Van Slyke.
Where do you get those kind of kids? Find me a couple more. He's amazing.
Squeeze play. And it works.
The former Met Neil Allen with a record of 10 and 12, an earned run average of 4.01, and pitching for the New York Mets, Tom Seaver. Tom has won 8 and lost 13. He has an earned run average at 3.78. And a drive into right center field. A long run for Mookie Wilson. He gets to the warning track and he makes the catch. So a good running catch by Mookie Wilson to retire the side. 1 unearned run, 1 hit, 1 error, and 1 man left at third. And Allen did not get off the mound. A metal lapse by Neil Allen on the slashing ball hit by Hubie Brooks off.
And that hesitation right there cost him. And that's why a catcher, when a ball's hit to the right side of the infield, hollers, get over there when you do that.
So the Mets have a runner at first base with Keith Hernandez. Driven in 4 runs for the Mets against St. Louis. And there's a line drive off the glove of Ramsey at second. Brooks, who was heading back to first thinking the ball might be caught, then moves on down to second when it goes over in the right center field, and the Mets now have runners at first and second.
Well, there's nothing Hubie can do about this ball. It jams Keith a little bit. Ramsey times it well, but it kind of snow cones right off of his glove. Now watch him want to jump. Now he waits to try to catch it at its apex. See how high game in which the Mets won 5-1.
And the breaking ball runs batted in, and a .465 batting average.
For that overhand fastball and curveball, there's no deception.
Went back to the fastball in the count. And this ball hit out to left center field. A long run for the center fielder McGee, but he gets to the warning track.
He does not have good power. Rips this one. What a play by Hernandez. Oh, my goodness. He's won the Gold Glove 5 years in a row, and this is just one of the examples why. My goodness.
Well, there's nothing you can say about a play like this. Just watch it in slow motion as Hernandez extends fully. From a ground level angle, you can see how he just gave it all he had to smother that ball, and then from his knees makes a good throw to Seaver. Tom, as ever, on the ball, covering in time.
Still standing tall, the Cardinals were 2.5 games behind as they marched on to Veterans Stadium for a crucial series with the Phillies. But experience was in favor of Philadelphia's Wheeze kids, while it was mistakes that made the Redbirds blue. The 3-game sweep of the Cardinals knocked them out of the race, while the Phillies went on to win the National League pennant.
More games. Fitting that the big left-hander will attempt to do it in the city where he originally played in the major leagues. Started with the St. Louis Cardinals in 1965. Had 215 losses, an earned run mark of 3.15. Lifetime 290. Won 6. He's dropped 15 with an earned run mark of 4. Wizard at shortstop, Ozzie Smith. Jim Sexton at third base. And in the outfield, Lonnie Smith in left. Willie McGee in center. David Green in right, a very fast outfield. Doing the catching, Glenn Brummer, and on the mound is Joaquin Andujar. Joe Morgan leads off for the Phils, the hottest hitter on the Phillies ball club. 13 hits in the air to right center field. Willie McGee and David Green are both there, and David Green and Willie McGee almost got crossed up, and hard ground ball. Nice grab by Lyons. His throw will be swinging up. Speed at the top of the Cardinal order. Lonnie Smith. Switch hitter. He's hitting .288, batting just about the same left as right. .289 left-handed, right-handed .287. That'll bring on George Hendrick. Hendrick hitting at .315, 17 homers, 88 RBI. Base hit to right field. Carlton puts himself in front 1-0. Matthews scores, and it's a 1-0 ball game. And Carlton has been bothered because his mother and his sister were in the Revolutionary going downhill when he quits striking people out. Well, Carlton leads the majors in strikeouts at age 38 as Matusik makes the unassisted. Bill Allen will be televising both of those games for you. Ground ball to third, might be two, except Sexton juggles, and they lose the double play as a result. They get the lead man. Struck him out. Diaz goes down swinging. That's the third strikeout for Andujar. Phillies do get a run. Into right center. That'll fall for a hit. LaFay over to cut it off, and Brummer will hold on at first. And he is a leadoff base runner for St. Louis. Andujar gets the bunt down nicely. Schmidt gets the out at first base.
Including today. Gets his back fine-tuned. There's a base hit for Hendrick right in the hole. And for the second inning in a row, the Cardinals have their leadoff man aboard. However, unlike last inning, they will not be bunting here. David Green was a strikeout victim to start the second inning, his only at bat. He is 2 for 13 against Carlton. Phillies infield looks for 2. Foul by Green. He had a good rip
this year, and he's not taking much of a lead.
Here's a drive off the bat of Green. If it's fair, it is a 2-run homer for David Green to tie the game. He really smacked it. What a bolt to left field by Green, his 8th home run. Well, he pulled one foul right before that, serving notice that he was zeroed in on Carlton, and he really nailed that one.
Yeah, he hit a fastball after pulling a slider foul. Carlton went with a fastball.
That's the first out of the inning.
Here's David Green's swing on the fastball. He really got the barrel of the bat out there in a hurry.
Bill Lyons, the batter, he grounded out to first baseman Len Matusik. 2 outs in the inning. Here is Glenn Brummer. Laces one to left field. Matthews on the run. Can't get it, base hit. Brummer takes a turn but hangs on at first base with his second hit in a row. Brummer 2 for 2 off Carlton, singling to right field and now to left field. Here he'll be up to take his rips, and for Joaquin that means a healthy breeze at the plate. He really takes a swing. 9 degrees at the airport. Got him with a breaking ball. Andujar fans, and the inning is over. Strikeout number.
After the ejection of both Whitey Herzog and Joaquin Andujar, we pick up the action midway through the top of the 5th. The Phillies, with 1 out, have already scored 3 runs as Andujar's replacement, Jeff Lottie, takes over on the mound.
No. Here's the 3-2 pitch to Green, and he's got a base hit. David Green pokes it right in the hole. That's the Cardinals' 6th hit, so Green is 2 out of 3. Jim played this year. 3-2 pitch. Smacked into the left field corner. It is a foul ball. Oh. Lyons got around on that and gave it a ride.
Who was it?
How about Herb Score?
All right.
Lined in the alley. Gets by Gross all the way back to the fence. Ozzie Smith on his way to third base. No throw, a stand-up triple for Ozzie Smith. Make that? Yeah, it is his 6th. Herb Score struck out 2 batters in his rookie year, 1955. Holland up in the bullpen. There's Mr. T. He struck him out with a slider, strikeout number 11 for Carter. He's lost just 199. Struck him out with a slider, a dozen strikeouts for Carlton, 300. Al Holland is still up in the Phillies bullpen. Keeps it alive with a hit to left center field, and is Brummer's third hit of the ball game. And Overtfell will come out and bat for Von Olen. Ken Overtfell batting for Dave Von Olen. Struck him out. Ball game is over. Phillies win it 6-2. Steve Carlton winning his 300th major league game. And the big left-hander is the first one to go out and shake the hand of Mr. T. Al Holland. There's Steve Carlton. 300 major league wins. 199 losses. Paul Owens hugging the big left-hander. What a pleasure it has been to watch him pitch over the years since joining the Phillies in 1972.
But in September, the book wasn't closed yet. Bob Forsch, who had struggled much of the season, had a memorable night against the Expos as he wrote a new page in the Cardinal record book.
Into the windup. Here's the 1-1. Swinging a ground ball. The third baseman Overtfell has it. The throw. Forsch just pitched a no-hitter. It's the first time in the history of Cardinal baseball that a pitcher has two no-hitters. As Forsch no-hits Montreal, his teammates rushed to the mound to congratulate him.
With one no-hitter already to his credit, Forsch knew he was on to something big.
About the sixth inning on, I thought I might have a chance. I was just hoping we get some runs so that, I could do a couple different things.
Anybody say anything in the dugout?
No, everybody's really quiet. Everybody's really superstitious, so nobody said anything.
Hats off to Bob Forsch, one of only 25 pitchers in baseball history to throw more than one no-hitter in a career. And there was still plenty of excitement in the last weekend of the season as the arch-rival Cubs came to town. During this final weekend, Lonnie Smith was gearing toward a National League batting title. In his last 8 games, he collected 15 hits to finish with a .321 average, just 2 points shy of eventual champion Bill Madlock. And on the last day of the season was time to say goodbye to Hub Kittle, a favorite with fans as well as Cardinal pitchers.
His enthusiasm as well as his knowledge of pitching, it kind of rubs off on you. So I don't think there's a few of us that wouldn't be here without him.
We're 23, 24 years old. We can't be too big for this game. We got to realize that we're lucky to be where we are, and Hub makes us feel that way every day. It makes us work hard and makes us glad to be where we are.
Hub was the honorary manager in the season finale, and he appeared to be a prophet.
Come on, double play, come on. That's it.
In a Cardinal uniform for the last time, Hub managed the team to victory, and he also watched the Redbird running game reach a new high, setting an all-time record with stolen base number 205. On the mound for that last game was John Stupert, who emerged as the staff's ace in September. His win in that final game capped a 3-game sweep of the Cubs and tied him for the club lead in victories with 12. Though 1983 had its share of ups and downs, the Cardinals looked to have a promising future with the development of youngsters through the farm system. In '82, it was David Green and Willie McGee. 1983's crop of rookies includes Danny Cox and Andy Van Slyke. And in 1984, the tradition should continue because when it comes to the minor leagues, the Cardinals are strong across the board.
We have good people working in our minor league organization, and you need that. You can't have any weak links in an organization. I think we have outstanding scouts, and I think that's where it all begins.
In A-ball, the excitement begins at first base for Macon Cardinal fans who watch Vince Coleman steal an incredible 145 bases, the most ever in the history of professional baseball. The Springfield Cardinals won the Midwest League on the strength of slugging outfielder Curt Ford. Even in single A, the taste of winning can be very sweet. With a solid defense, the Arkansas Travelers of Double A won a Texas League championship. In Louisville, there were many reasons to get excited. For starters, there was Jim Adducci's homer that led to the clinching of a division title. Then the moment everyone was waiting for. Louisville surpassed the 1 million mark in attendance for a season, the first time ever for a minor league franchise. Following in the rich tradition of teams past, the Cardinal legacy lives on. The 1983 season provided lots of excitement for St. Louis fans. There were no championship flags to wave this season, but the team's youth and speed are assets that should make the Cardinals contenders for years to come. With all this to look forward to, 1984 will be an even better year to get excited with the St. Louis Cardinals.
Retire Shelby and Landrum. That way he wouldn't have to face Ripken and or Murray with anybody on base.
This may be his last hitter, even though he's pitched so well. Landrum, not the deep threat, but when you get to Ripken, Murray, Renicky after that, but let's see what La Russa decides.
This ball is blasted by Tito Landrum.
What did I say?
It is gone.
How about that?
Tito Landrum begins the year at Louisville in the Cardinal chain, and he's on cloud 9 right now with birds of a different feather, the Baltimore Orioles.
He had 1 home run and 41 at-bats during the regular season, and he threw a jolt, and out comes La Russa. I wonder if Tony wasn't thinking the same thing we were.
It's a reasonable thought.
Yeah, let Landrum stay in there, and then when Ripken, Murray, Renicky come up, he had for Rojas, I believe, ready.
Of the World Series, as the pitching change is made, we'll return after this. Right in the wheelhouse for Tito Landrum, and did he ever know what to do with it, even for the Baltimore Orioles, and also to thank their own club, the Chicago White Sox, for the thrills they provided this year. They won 99 games in the American League town this year, so Oriole fans who didn't get to see them win it at home will be able to greet them in the Fall Classic.
There were more than 780 players chosen in the 1971 amateur draft before this two-time champion and 1979 NL MVP. He is, of course, Keith Hernandez, a 42nd round pick in that draft and quite a steal for the Cardinals.
It's really amazing to think that a player of Keith Hernandez's caliber did not get drafted to the 42nd round. We're talking about an MVP.
Yeah, he was an MVP.
Woo! Got it! Got it!
He's a world champion.
I got a world championship ring.
You look at the era that he played in and what he did, I think he's one of the most special players I've ever seen.
79 through 88, that's 10 years. He played in more victories than any player in baseball.
To have Keith Hernandez go so low is incredible. You know, a man that basically changed the defensive posture at first base.
What a play by Hernandez! Oh my goodness!
Keith Hernandez is probably the greatest defensive first baseman ever.
It's a fair ball, and Hernandez has got it. Woo! The throw is in time. What a play!
He's a vacuum cleaner.
You can see why Hernandez has won Gold Glove.
You talk about Gold Glove, it was almost like give it to him every year.
Look at Hernandez, a Golden Glove first baseman,
Plus, Keith Hernandez is a consistent 300 hitter who hits 40 doubles a year. And he also has, to his credit, 2 huge World Series hits.
I don't think we won the World Series in '86 without Keith.
Keith was a true leader. He taught us all the young